Hello, everybody. It is time for the Divine Brahmsa pickup show. It's been a few weeks since Midwest Gaming Classic, and I thought I had better do a pickup video just to show all what I got here. Start here, some older stuff. Got Donkey Kong for the Intellivision. The game isn't the best port ever, but it was like $1 or something. So really, all I need to do is just get my Intellivision 2 hooked up, and it should work. Night Stalker as well for the Intellivision. I don't think I've ever played this game, but just the graphics on the front, it's just so classic and looks like it could be a decent game. Let's see, and Las Vegas Poker and Blackjack for the Intellivision. I'm probably not ever going to play this, but it was cheap, and of course, the graphics though on the front, that's just pure 70s gaming there. That's just great. Love it. Okay, what else here? Okay, I got Porky's for the Atari 2600 here. And although I know I don't have an Atari, shame on me. And this game isn't all that good, but just the graphics on the front, though, it's just pure camp. And it's only like 50 cents or something, though, so I have to get it. It's great. Let's see. Super Tennis here for the SNES. This was a launch title. Pretty fun game. I remember when it came out and playing it was great. This is one of the very few games, though, that I've gotten worse with over time, because I have been playing it some, and I'm really, really bad at it now. Go figure, huh? Let's see. Yoda Stories for the Game Boy. I remember playing this, and there was an Indiana Jones version on the PC years ago. It isn't the greatest game on the planet, but it's just a simple, basic game. You go around the map, you collect some powers, you have to find certain things to get your X-Wing back in the sky. It isn't a great game, but it's still fun, though, for a cheap game. Ultima Quest of the Avatar for the Nintendo. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is part 3 or 4 of the Ultima games, and I do love them, and I do own all of them on the PC. So I thought, hey, this was a pretty good price. I'll try it out on the NES and see what they changed, upgraded, because I know at the time the NES had better graphics than the PC at the time, so we'll just see, how it's supposed to be. Q*bert for the NES. Jeff Lee, who was the creator of Q*bert, was supposed to be there this year, and he was, but unfortunately I missed getting to meet him, so I bought the game for him to sign it, and I found out that, hey, he was there talking about an hour before, so I didn't get a chance to see him, unfortunately, but, I do like Q*bert, so it should be a pretty good game. And Milon's Secret Castle for the NES. This is one of those games, if you've ever seen the AVGN video for it, he thinks it sucks, and it isn't going to be on the par of like Mario 3 or DuckTales or anything, any of those great games, but I've played it before, and it's not as bad as everyone thinks. It's pretty fun game, underrated game. I think if you just go in knowing that stuff is hidden and secret, then it's okay, yeah. Tyrants Fight Through Time for the Genesis. This is one of the games that I went there hoping to get. This came out on the PC and Amiga years ago, known as Megalomania. It's a real-time strategy game where you go through time. You start at the caveman period and you can go into the future where you can fly jets and spaceships and such. So depending on how good you are at the game, you can be fighting cavemen while you're in like a biplane or something. It's pretty fun. Got it for cheap because the game is pretty beat up, but I did want to play it though on the Genesis, so I didn't really care the condition though. Populous DS here. I am a big fan of, or I used to be a big fan of Peter Molyneux's older games. His new stuff really isn't all that great, but Populous 1 and 2 are some of my favorite games on the Amiga though. Hi there, Angel. And the DS version is decent. It's not great, but it was cheap, so I thought I'd pick it up. Pokemon Leaf Green for the Game Boy Advance. Usually the older Pokemon games loose go for about $30 to $40. I got this for $8. It works. It's in good shape. This is a remastered version of the original Pokemon games, this and Fire Red. And whereas I do own Yellow and Blue, I thought I'd just pick this up because, the Game Boy doesn't have backlight, so it's a pain in the butt to play. But yeah, I could always play them on my GBA SP, but no, yeah, got it for cheap. Pokemon, it's good, so yeah. Settlers for the DS. I'm a big fan of the Blue Byte games for this series that were on the Amiga. The latest entries that have come out the past 10 years or so have been okay, not great, but they aren't horrible though. This is, I believe, a remake of Settlers 2, which was on the PC, and if I recall back when this came out, there were some problems with the original run of the game, so they released a 1.1 version of the game as well that had some fixes in it. I don't know which version this is, but I'll try it. And it isn't supposed to be great, but just some portable Settlers though. We'll see. So yeah, let's see what else. Got some loose games here for cheap. Advent Rising for the Xbox. When this came out, there was a contest held with it. I believe you could win $1 million or so, but I want to say this bankrupted Majesco, but it lost a ton of cash. It was supposed to be an okay game, but this was part of buy one, get one free table, so it's supposed to be okay, so I'll try it out. Sentinel Returns for the PlayStation. This is the sequel to the game Sentinel, which was on the PC, Commodore 64, Amiga back in the day. I did enjoy it a lot back then, even though at that age I didn't know completely what I was doing. This game is notorious because when this came out retail, according to a friend who is in the business, this game only sold like 10 copies or so at retail. It was a major dud. They all got shipped back. And it's only supposed to be a decent game if you're a fan of the original, which I was, so let's give this a try. Maximo, Ghosts to Glory for the PS2. This is by Capcom. This is one of the spiritual successors to the Ghouls and Ghosts and Goblins game. I remember owning this back in the day when it first came out. It was a decent game. It was good. Midway Arcade Greatest Hits Collection 2. I do love my compilation games. I do love old arcade games. I got the first game. And this one has Tapper, Burger Time. What else does it have on there? Root Beer Tapper. Anyway, it's good arcade games, and all of the compilation discs on the PS1 were good. So yeah, good stuff. We got Metal Gear Solid 2 on the Xbox. I already have it, both versions for the PS2, but this adds Dolby 5.1 surround sound. I believe the graphics are a little better. I think they add a couple different things, but I do like Metal Gear, so it's good to try and collect them all when they're so cheap. And Driver for the PlayStation. Pretty fun game when it came out. I remember buying it. It was pretty fun. It's kind of a GTA game, but this was before GTA 3, so it's an open world game to an extent. And for it being on the PlayStation, it's a decent game. It isn't the most powerful or best looking game, but it was fun though. And like part 2 after it, I believe, was pretty decent, but all the rest after them weren't all that good. Let's see, have some more loose. Let's go with Batman Vengeance here for the GameCube. I had this on the PS2 when it first came out years ago, and there were a few different ones that came after this too, and I always thought that they were not that good. This has all the voice casting, has Mark Hamill, and having a brain fire about the guy who played Batman's voice, but I got rid of the PS2 version somehow. I forget why, but I didn't get this until now because I always forgot which one was good and which one sucked. But yeah, I looked it up again. This was the good one, so of course I had to get it. Zoid's Assault for the 360. Now, this isn't supposed to be a great game by any means, but I remember playing the demo and thought it was okay. And it's an Atlas game, so it was cheap too, so I'll pick it up though to complete my Atlas games collection. Silent Hill 2 for the Xbox. And again, I do have this for the PS2, but I want to try and get all Silent Hill games, all versions of them. But this also added Dolby surround sound, and added some new things to the game, a new level, enhanced graphics, a new character, and more secrets revealed. So, heck yeah. Soul Calibur 3 for the PS2. This is a really good game. I think part 2 was a little better, and but all of the Soul Calibur games are fine. And I forgot that I did not have this one. I have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I have Soul Edge and all those games. So, yeah, I'm not the best at it, but yeah, sure. Okay, some more loose games here. Evolution for the Dreamcast. I remember playing this, and I don't know why I ever got rid of it, but it was a pretty fun RPG. Eternal Ring for the PS2. This was made by the same guys that did Kingsfield games for the PlayStation and PS2. This was a launch title. It isn't a great game by any means. It's a little bit rough, but for $3 though, I'll play it again. I mean, it's a lot better than buying it at launch for $50. Evergrace for the PS2. This was also a launch title, or came out, right after. This was still by the exact same guys that did Eternal Ring and Kingsfield, and now they've been doing Dark Souls, Bloodborne, but again, this was an okay game. $3 is a lot better than paying 50. And Yiz, the Ark of Napishtim, I believe. This is part 5 or 6 in the Yiz series, and I've been trying to find this or the PSP version for a long time. I would prefer a complete version, but those are expensive, so $10 for a great game. Okay, back to the complete games. Kung Fu Rider for the PS3. I just recently got a PS3 Move, and this is supposed to be a fun game. You go down courses and stuff on an office chair. You know, it isn't supposed to be the best game on the planet, but it's fun though. It was only like $3 or $4, and I think my kids will definitely get a kick out of this game. Yakuza for the PS2. This is the first game, and it isn't complete. It's just the disc, which is fine because I think boxed complete, and you know, it goes for about 80 or so. But I'll take the game itself for just $1. Which I still want to complete these series. I have 0, 1, 3, and 4. Even though they are going to re-release this on the PS4 for I think $30 here coming up soon, but hey, you know, it's $1. I'll play it, put it on the shelf there. Shepherd's Crossing for the PS2. This is supposed to be like a Harvest Moon Light. It's more about raising your animals and stuff, but it looks cute, and I remember that, you know, the reviews all said that it's okay if you don't compare it to Harvest Moon. That was only like $3 or $4, so I thought I'd try it out. If anything, if it's easier, my kids will dig it, so good way to get them started in on the farming games. Let's see, for the Vita, gotta give love to the Vita. Got Aegis of Earth. It's supposed to be a decent game. Got it for I think $10-15 here. Vita games, depending on where you go, are getting hard to find, or they can be a little bit expensive. So if you find any of the ones you want for a decent price, then we'll pick it up. Okay, Dungeons and Dragons Tactics on the PSP. I remember playing this when it came out. I didn't actually own it, but it looked a little bit like Baldur's Gate. The control was a little weird, but I didn't ever buy it because none of the stores around me ever had it, and like if GameStop or wherever ever got it used, it was always way too expensive. I think I only paid like $10 for this, and you know, it just helps me get closer to owning all of the PSP games that I want. You know, there's only about 15 or so more that I want for my collection. One more PSP game here, Dungeon Maker. I didn't ever pick this up when it came out because at that point I really wasn't interested in it, but you know, you create your own dungeons, fill them up, and go on adventures and stuff. It's supposed to be fun, so I thought I'd give it a try. Pretty good price, and you know, in the case and all that, so that's always fun. Let's see, getting close to the end here. Let's see here. I'm going to start with, got Samurai Showdown for the Genesis. I always loved this in part 2 in the arcade, and this version I believe is supposed to be decent. This is just with the game cart, but you know, hey, it was cheap, so I'll just have fun playing it. Starflight for the Genesis. This was by I remember this on the Commodore 64. I was too young to really get what it was doing there, but this is an EA game, and a lot of the EA RPGs are getting expensive on the Genesis. I got this for maybe, I forget, but comes with the cart and the book and the inserts. They're all in pretty good shape here. Can't wait to play it. Buck Rogers, Countdown to Doomsday. I had this on the Amiga, but I don't think I ever played it because I think at the time it was a little too difficult for me. Again, it's an EA game. I got a really good deal on it, and this is a great tactical and explore RPG, and everything's it. The book is in good shape. The game isn't in there because it's in my Genesis right now. Really good shape. Might and Magic Gates 2, another world for the Genesis. Of course, another EA game. I do like the Might and Magic games, the original ones. The Heroes games, I'm not the biggest fan of. I want to say this was like maybe part 3 of the series, but I forget. But this is definitely a pure RPG, high fantasy, good stuff. And let's see, here we got Fairy Tale Adventure. I remember playing this on the Amiga back there, or was it the Commodore? I forget. But it's a light fantasy game, but it was still good. And I was glad to find it because I've been trying to find this for a long time. And let's see here. I was able to meet the creator of General Chaos game on the Genesis. One of my favorites. Talked to him for quite a bit. Really good guy. Did not know that they were working on a part 2, but apparently they did a Kickstarter and got about halfway funded, and he had to take some time off to battle an illness. And now I believe he just said that he found the extra half that he needs from a publisher to finish the game, which will be awesome because I love the game. I was able to pick up some figures here that went to some of the Kickstarter backers. I love the game, so this was just great. I got him to sign my copy of the game, which let me go get here. Okay, here I am back with General Chaos on the Genesis. One of my favorite games on the system growing up. My friend Matt and I played this all the time. Love the game. Had Brian Collin, who's the creator, autograph that. The front there, and the manual on the way down to autograph the cartridge too. He was pleased to talk to me. I mean, he's done tons of games. He helped create Rampage and a few other games I forget, but not too many people there were really huge fans of General Chaos, or they hadn't really heard of it, but he was always glad because I think he said that was only about the 4th or 5th person he talked to that really loved the game, but he's quite passionate about it. One of his favorites, and I will be in contact with him to hopefully help support part 2 when it comes out somehow. And I also met the author of this book, Tim Lapatino, which is weird because I didn't autograph it here. Have you played Atari today? Not yet, Tim, but it's weird because this is a great book if you love the Atari artwork, but at first he seemed to be a really young guy, and I was like, what the heck is he doing with an Atari book that he made, because he didn't grow up with it. But then, of course, I looked on his profile on Amazon. Apparently, he's been doing books and graphic design for like 20 years or whatever. So, I'm sure, yeah, he looks really young. Great book, but that is all for my pickup video. I will do a review video here soon. It will be a lot shorter because I just want to go over the highlights and what I thought of the show overall, because this is like my 6th or 7th time going to the Midwest Gaming Classic. But I'll do a review video here, so it'll all be good. This is Divine Brahms signing out.